Hello students, I am V. L. N. Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara Degree College, which is affiliated to Adikavi Nannaya University. So far we discussed about replication, models of replication and evidence, experimental proof for semi-conservative model of DNA replication, and also in the previous classes we discussed about nature and structure of the gene, experimental proofs for DNA as genetic material. So now let's discuss about enzymes which are responsible for the replication. Okay, replication process require many enzymes. Okay, so let's see about the enzymes involved in replication process. Majorly we should see about DNA polymerase. Okay, here DNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3, that is DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3. These are the three types of DNA polymerases which are found in prokaryotes majorly, and these three enzymes are responsible for the replication in prokaryotes. Apart from DNA polymerases, other enzymes like DNA helicase, topoisomerases, primases, DNA ligase are also essential for the completion of the replication process. First, let's see about the major enzyme, that is DNA polymerase. Okay, this DNA polymerases carry out the process of polymerization of nucleotides and formation of polynucleotide chain, and the enzyme is called replicase also. Okay, so what is the major function of this DNA replication? It is helpful for the carrying of this process of replication, and during the process of replication it will help the replication process for polymerization of nucleotides. That means for attachment of each free dinucleotide and formation of a polynucleotide chain. That means by addition of each free deoxyribonucleotides there will be finally there will be formation of a polynucleotide chain. Okay, and major function of this DNA polymerase is to polymerization of nucleotides for the formation of polynucleotide chain, and this enzyme is also called as replicase. When it replicates, the DNA molecule are inherited by daughter cells. That means when this DNA gets replicated, DNA molecules are inherited by daughter cells. That means the genetic information or the genetic material from the parent DNA molecule is transferred to the daughter cells. What we call it as inheritance. Okay, and in the year 1959, for the first time, Arthur Kornberg discovered an enzyme in E. coli. Okay, that is Escherichia coli. This is a bacteria in which the scientist Arthur Kornberg in the year 1959 he discovered this DNA polymerase for the first time, and which polymerized the deoxyribonucleotide triphosphate on a DNA template and produced complementary strand of DNA. So the DNA polymerase which was identified by Kornberg what it did is it polymerized the deoxyribonucleotide triphosphate on a DNA template to produce a complementary strand of DNA. That means during DNA replication, what will happen? Parent DNA strand will act as one of the strand in the parent DNA will act as DNA template, and based on complementary base pairing, a complementary strand daughter DNA strand will be produced. Okay, so during this reaction, what he observed, he observed that this DNA polymerase is capable of polymerizing this deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates of DNA template. That means parent DNA molecule in which DNA template is present. This DNA template or single strand of parent DNA molecule which act as DNA template is being polymerized to complementary daughter DNA strand by this DNA polymerase enzyme. And this enzyme was called DNA polymerase. That means he named that enzyme as DNA polymerase, and that means here it is polymerizing DNA molecule. That's why he named it as DNA polymerase. Here you can also identify the word ASE at the end of the name, and which means this is an enzyme. Later on it was named as Coenberg polymerase or Coenberg enzyme. That means he also as usually based on the name of the scientist, this is also called as Coenberg polymerase or Coenberg enzyme. Okay. Excuse me. After the name of discovering in vitro polymerization of DNA for the catalysis of polymerization, it requires 4-deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates. That means for the polymerization of DNA, that means DNA polymerase to act on this DNA for polymerization process, it requires 4-deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates. Okay. Based on this deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates only, there will be formation of a DNA complementary DNA strand. Okay. If you see, deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates are like D-ATP, D-GTP, D-TTP and D-CTP. Okay. ATP is responsible for adenine, D-GTP is responsible for guanine, D-TTP is responsible for thymine, and D-CTP is responsible for cytosine. So these are the 4 ribonucleotide triphosphates which are required for the polymerization of DNA molecule into new or daughter DNA molecule by the enzyme DNA polymerase. Okay, and it also require, that means for replication process there is requirement of 4-deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates and an enzyme DNA polymerase and a DNA template which is given by the parent DNA molecule and a primer for initiation of catalytic activity. Primer means a fragment of DNA which will initiate the catalytic activity, and also this process requires Mg+2 ions. In prokaryotes, 3 types of DNA polymerases are present. That in prokaryotes, 3 types of DNA polymerases are present, like DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2, DNA polymerase 3. So that means 3 types of DNA polymerases are seen in prokaryotes. Okay. Whereas in eukaryotes, 3 or 4 polymerases are present and they are termed as alpha DNA polymerase, beta DNA polymerase, omega DNA polymerase, and also mitochondria DNA polymerase. So whereas in prokaryotes, DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2, DNA polymerase 3 are present, and in eukaryotes, alpha DNA polymerase, beta DNA polymerase, gamma DNA polymerase, and mitochondria DNA polymerase. These are the 4 types of DNA polymerases that we see in eukaryotes. Okay. Now let's see about these types of DNA polymerases. Firstly, let's start with DNA polymerase 1. This DNA polymerase 1 enzyme provides the major part of activity in E. coli. That means in replication of E. coli genetic material, DNA polymerase 1 is a major enzyme which will participate in the polymerization or in the replication process. It is chiefly a DNA repair enzyme and is found for in vitro DNA replication. That means it is a major enzyme for DNA repair and also used for the in vitro DNA replication. That means it is not only used for the replication purpose, it is also useful for the DNA repair mechanism. Okay, and the enzyme has following 3 activities. That means it will show 3 different activities. Okay, though it is a single enzyme, but it has multiple activities, and the first one is the 5' to 3' exonuclease activity is involved in excision of DNA strands during DNA repair. That means it will show activity of 5' to 3' in exonucleases. 5' to 3' means nothing but it will work in the direction of 5' to 3'. That means any DNA strand, any DNA single strand DNA molecule will have 5' end and a 3' end. That means one end is called as 5' end and the other end is called as 3' end. And the direction of activity of this enzyme is from 5' to 3'. That means it shows 5' to 3' exonuclease activity involved in the excision of DNA strands during DNA repair. Okay, that means as we discussed earlier, this enzyme DNA polymerase 1 not only helpful for the DNA replication, it also helpful in the DNA repair, and its activity in DNA repair is from 5' to 3' exonuclease activity. It moves around 10 bases at a time. That means it will act on 10 bases at a time. And exonuclease digests nucleic acids from one end and it does not cut DNA internally. So here it is showing exonuclease activity. Exonuclease activity means it will cleave that nucleic acids on the outer part or the outer surface of the genetic material, whereas endonucleases means this cleave inside the DNA. That means as a DNA is a helical arranged in a helical manner, the outer fragments or the outer components will be cleaved by these exonucleases, and these exonucleases digest nucleic acids from one end and it does not cut internally. That means there will be no internal cleaving of the DNA, only outer surface or the components or the nucleotides which are present towards the outside are cleaved by this DNA polymerase 1 enzyme showing exonuclease activity. And the next one is, it shows 5' to 3' polymerase activity and is responsible for primer excision or DNA synthesis. Okay, that means here this DNA polymerase 1 will help in the attachment of this primer primer and for the DNA synthesis, and it will act in 5' to 3' polymerase activity. Here also it will act from the 5' to 3' direction, and it will help for the primer attachment. And the third function or third activity of this DNA polymerase 1 is the 3' to 5' exonuclease activity is responsible for proofreading. That means after this replication process, there will be a small process called proofreading. By this mechanism, proofreading, so this proofreading is for the verification of that particular newly synthesized DNA strand, whether that particular DNA strand is produced correctly or not. Does that particular newly synthesized DNA strand contains a proper complementary base pairing or not? This is checked by proofreading process by the DNA polymerase enzyme in 3' to 5' direction. Okay. In this case only one nucleotide is removed at a time. That means this DNA polymerase, it can remove only one nucleotide at a time. That means during proofreading process, if it required to remove any nucleotide, it can only remove one nucleotide at one time. The polymerase action does commit errors in DNA synthesis. That means sometimes polymerization action will also have few errors. For that process only proofreading is done at the end of the process. DNA polymerase is to scrutinize the new bases added to the growing chain and to delete or to remove the wrong bases. This is called proofreading. Okay, as I told earlier, proofreading is nothing but correction process. Okay, while polymerization process, there will be few errors and wrongly added nucleotide bases will be removed and proper bases will be added by this DNA polymerase 1 by the 3' to 5' exonuclease proofreading activity. So this particular DNA polymerase 1 is helpful in the polymerization process and also helpful in the repairing of this DNA by polymerization, and also helpful in the proofreading of the replicated DNA strand. Okay, and the next one is DNA polymerase 2. DNA polymerase 2. DNA polymerase 2, for several years, polymerase 1 was considered to be responsible for replication in E. coli, but during 1970s, it became clear that polymerase 1 is associated only with the repair mechanism, and the other enzymes polymerase 2 and 3 are involved in the polymerization process. Okay, that means, as we discussed earlier, DNA polymerase is responsible for the 5' to 3' polymerization activity on this primer for the new DNA synthesis, and also it plays major role in the DNA repair and also in the proofreading. Okay, and in earlier, for many years, scientists what they thought is This polymerase 1 is responsible for replication in E. coli. But after 1970s or during the 1970s, this polymerase 2 and 3 activity was identified, and they came to a conclusion that polymerase 1 is majorly responsible for the repair mechanism, whereas enzymes DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3 are majorly involved in the DNA polymerization process. Okay. And DNA polymerase 2 is a single polypeptide chain with molecular weight 90,000 that shows polymerization in the direction of 5' to 3' direction of a complementary chain. So, this DNA polymerase 2 also shows 5' to 3' activity on the complementary for the complementary base pairing of the template DNA, and it's a single polypeptide chain. The DNA polymerase 2 enzyme is a single polypeptide chain, and its weight is its molecular weight is 90,000 Daltons. Okay, it also shows exonuclease activity in 3' to 5' direction. That means this particular DNA polymerase 2 enzyme will also show 3' to 5' direction exonuclease activity, but not in 5' to 3' direction. That means polymerization is done in 5' to 3' direction, whereas exonuclease activity is shown in 3' to 5' direction. Okay, the polymerization activity of DNA polymerase 2 is much less than DNA polymerase 1 in E. coli cells and is about 50 nucleotides per minute, as synthesized in E. coli cells contains about 40 DNA polymerase 2 molecules. That means if we compare this DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 1, activity of DNA polymerase 2 is very less when compared to DNA polymerase 1 in E. coli. Okay, particularly in E. coli cells, this role of or activity of DNA polymerase 1 is high when compared to this DNA polymerase 2. Okay, if we take a E. coli cell or replication of E. coli DNA, about 50 nucleotides per minute will be polymerized and synthesized in E. coli cells, and in that particular E. coli 40 DNA polymerase 2 molecules are present. That means for production of 50 nucleotide chain per minute, requirement of DNA polymerase 2 is very high. That means 40 DNA polymerase 2 molecules are required, and that's why this shows very less activity when compared to DNA polymerase 1. And the 5' to 3' exonuclease activity of polymerase, that is DNA polymerase 2, shows that it also plays role in repairs, synthesis or DNA damage. And also 3' to 5' exonuclease activity of polymerase 2 shows it also plays a role in repairing, synthesis or DNA damage. That means like DNA polymerase 1, this DNA polymerase 2 also shows activity of DNA repair, DNA synthesis. Okay, but activity of this DNA polymerase is more for polymerization. Okay, DNA damage also can be occurred with this DNA polymerase 2 by UV light, just like DNA polymerase 1. That means DNA damage by UV light can be repaired by this DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2. In the absence of DNA polymerase 1, it can elongate ocazoid fragments. Therefore, DNA polymerase 2 is an alternative for DNA polymerase 1. During DNA replication process, ocazoic fragments will be formed, and elongation of these ocazoic fragments, this DNA polymerase 2 is an alternative enzyme for action of DNA polymerase 1 on this ocazoic fragments. Okay, that means in the absence of DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2 will act on this ocazoic fragments. Okay. And now let's see about the third type of DNA polymerase, that is DNA polymerase 3. DNA polymerase 3 is several times more active than DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2 enzymes. Okay, that means its activity is very high when compared to DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2. It is a dimer of two polypeptide chains. That means it is a dimer and it will contain two polypeptide chains. And DNA polymerase 3 polymerizes deoxyribonucleotide triphosphate in a direction very efficiently. Therefore, DNA polymerase 3 is the main polymerization enzyme that can polymerize about 1500 nucleotides per minute in E. coli. Like DNA polymerase 2, it cannot do when ATP and certain protein factors are present. That means when compared to DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 1, this DNA polymerase 3 is very effective and it acts in any direction on this deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates, and it can polymerize around 1500 nucleotides per minute. Okay, as this DNA polymerase 2 can act on 50 nucleotides per minute, whereas this DNA polymerase 3 can act around 15,000 nucleotides per minute. That means there is lot of difference. There it can only act on 15 nucleotides, but this DNA polymerase 3 can act on 1500 nucleotides per minute in E. coli. Okay, and DNA polymerase 2 cannot show its activity when ATP or any other protein factors are present, but this DNA polymerase 3 is not like that. It can act, it can show polymerization activity anytime. Okay, and this is about DNA polymerase 1, 2, 3. Now let's move on to the other enzymes. The next one is DNA helicase. So basically this DNA helicase enzyme is helpful in the unwinding of DNA. That means after synthesis of DNA single strand, what will happen? Annealing of the double stranded DNA will occur, and after that particular double stranded DNA should be unwinded into helical structure. Okay, that means for the winding of this for unwinding of the DNA, this DNA helicase is used. Unwinding means removal of this helical structure is called unwinding. This DNA helicase is useful for the unwinding process, and DNA helicase is useful for unwinding the DNA, and usually by the hydrolysis of ATP provides the necessary energy. That means DNA molecule is hydrolyzed in the presence of ATP by the enzyme DNA helicase, and they have a molecular weight of 330 kilodaltons, which contain 6 identical subunits. That means this DNA helicase is made up of 6 identical subunits, and It have molecular weight of 330 kilodaltons, and this is helpful in the unwinding of DNA by process called hydrolysis, and ATP is required for the hydrolysis of this DNA by this enzyme DNA helicase. And the DNA B helicase and DNA C primase constitute a functional unit within the replication complex called the primosome. That means this helicase, DNA B helicase and DNA C primase, these are the two different enzymes, and they collectively form a functional unit, and we call it as primosome. Okay, and this primosome is seen in the replication complex. Okay, within the replication complex this primosome will be seen, and this is a collection of DNA B helicase and DNA C primase. The DNA is around by the DNA B helicase of the replication fork, and DNA primase occasionally associate with DNA B helicase and synthesizes a short DNA primer. So, this DNA B helicase is is present around this DNA template, and which will be produced as replication fork, and DNA primase will occasionally associated with this DNA B helicase, and due to this association a short DNA primer will be short RNA primer will be synthesized. Okay, by this primer ultimately unwinding will be produced. So this is the major function of DNA helicase, that is unwinding of DNA. And the next one is topoisomerases. These topoisomerases are enzymes that participate in the overwinding or unwinding of DNA. That means overwinding or unwinding. That means totally this is helpful in the winding of DNA. The winding problem of DNA arises due to the intertwined nature of its double helical structure. During DNA replication, DNA becomes overwind ahead of the replication fork. If left unabated, this torsion would eventually stop the ability of DNA polymerase involved in this process to continue down the DNA strand. That means during the replication process, what will happen? This topoisomerase what it should do is it should unwind or overwind those DNA strands so that DNA polymerase activity can be easily carried through the DNA strand. If not, this winding will stop the process of DNA polymerase. In order to prevent and correct these type of topological problems caused by the double helix, topoisomerases bind to DNA and cut the phosphate backbone, either one or both the DNA strands. Okay, that means to avoid this type of problems during the polymerization, this topoisomerases will bind to DNA and it will cut the phosphate backbone present on this DNA strands, and this intermediate break allows the DNA to be unwind, and at the end of this process the DNA backbone is released again. That means to avoid this problem, it will break this phosphate backbone, and it will form intermediate breaks, and this will allow the DNA to unwind and at the end of the process again DNA backbone is released. Okay, since the overall chemical composition and connectivity of the DNA does not change, the DNA substrate and product are chemical isomers, differing only in their global topology. Okay, that means based on this overall chemical composition and connectivity of the DNA, this DNA will not change in its chemical composition or in connectivity, and the DNA substrate and product are chemical isomers and they only differ in the global topology, and this resulting in the name of these enzymes topoisomerases. Okay, that's way as this will show difference only in the global topology. These enzymes are named as topoisomerases. Topoisomerases, and the enzyme topoisomerases are two types: topoisomerase 1, topoisomerase 2. And prokaryotic topoisomerase 1 we can simply call it as TOP, TOP 1A, can only relax negative supercoiled DNA, whereas eukaryotic topoisomerase 1 topo 1B can introduce positive supercoils. It can also relax them. Okay, that means prokaryotic topoisomerase 1 can act on negative supercoiling and eukaryotic topoisomerase 1 can act on positive supercoiling and also relaxing of this that positive supercoils. Okay, this is the major function of topoisomerases. And the next enzyme is primase. It catalyzes the synthesis of primer molecule. Primase is a short sequence of primer molecule. That means as this primer is very essential for the initiation of the replication process, this primer which is responsible for the initiation of replication is synthesized, and the synthesis is catalyzed by the enzyme primase, and this primase is a short sequence of primer molecule. Primer is a short sequence of RNA or oligonucleotide consisting of around 1 to 60 nucleotides. That means primer is nothing but a RNA fragment or a oligonucleotide fragment, and it consists of 1 to 60 nucleotides. Okay, and sequence of RNA primer is complementary in the DNA template. That means this RNA primer or the nucleotides which are present in this RNA primer are complementary to the DNA template. Primer has a free 3' OH group which is essential for the sequence of DNA. That means at the 3' end of the primer, one hydroxyl group is present, and the primer is removed at the end of the replication by 5' to 3' exonuclease activity of the DNA polymerase. That means after completion of the DNA replication or the polymerization of the DNA template by 5' to 3' exonuclease activity of the DNA polymerase enzyme, this primer is removed from the DNA template. And the next enzyme is DNA ligase. This enzyme DNA ligase, the enzyme which catalyzes the formation of phosphodiester bond between two nucleotides in a single stranded DNA. This is called DNA ligase. That means the enzyme which is responsible for the formation of phosphodiester bonds between two nucleotides in a single stranded DNA. That particular enzyme is called as DNA ligase. That means it will ultimately responsible for the phosphodiester bond formation in the single-stranded DNA, and it catalyzes the formation of phosphodiester bond between the 3' hydroxy of one nucleotide and 5' phosphate of another nucleotide in a single DNA chain. That means during polymerization process, these free nucleotides will be attached to one another, and during this process a phosphodiester bond will be formed between 3' hydroxy group of one nucleotide. That means first nucleotide 3' hydroxy and second nucleotide 5' phosphate end will be attached with this phosphodiester bond in single stranded DNA chain. It requires energy for the catalysis of the phosphodiester bond. That means for this phosphodiester bond formation, it also requires energy. In E. coli and other bacteria, the source of energy is NAD, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. NAD plus is the energy source in the replication of E. coli or other bacteria for the phosphodiester bond formation. And whereas in animals like animals and bacteriophages, the source of energy is ATP. That means for bacteria it is NAD plus, and for animals and bacteriophages it is ATP. DNA ligase fills the gap present in the single-stranded DNA chain. That means it also fills the gaps which are present in the single-stranded DNA chains, and it is also essential for the normal synthesis of DNA and repair of damaged DNA. That means not only for the synthesis of DNA, it is also helpful for the repairing of the damaged DNA. The process of formation of phosphodiester bonds between two nucleotides in a single-stranded DNA and filling the gaps is known as ligation. Here, the process of formation of phosphodiester bonds between two nucleotides in a single-stranded DNA and filling the gaps which are formed in the single-stranded DNA between two nucleotides can be filled by phosphodiester bond formation, and this process is called as ligation, DNA ligation, and this process is carried by the enzyme DNA ligase. Okay, so far we discussed about enzymes which are involved in the DNA replication. The first one is DNA polymerase, and in prokaryotes we have three types of DNA polymerases, that is DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2, DNA polymerase 3, and these are responsible for the polymerization majorly and also helpful in the